Hi everybody, it's Nikki at Dutiful Dogs. Hope you're having a great day. Had a few people ask me recently what they should be looking for when looking for a good balance trainer, and also what it is that balance trainers do. So I'm just going to give you a few pointers to help you point you in the right direction. What do we do? Balance trainers, we use praise and rewards, so food, toys, physical affection, to teach dogs, just as the pure positive trainers do. This is called positive reinforcement, and it's just one of 4 quadrants of operant conditioning. But instead of using just that one quadrant, balance trainers use all 4. So let's go through those 4. Reinforcement. Reinforcement is anything we do to encourage a behavior. Positive reinforcement is where a motivating stimulus is added to increase the frequency of a behavior. So Fido sits, and Fido is rewarded with praise, affection, and/or a treat or toy. Negative reinforcement is where an aversive stimulus is removed to increase the frequency of a behavior. For example, you push down on your dog's hindquarters to encourage it to sit. When the dog sits, you remove the pressure from its hindquarters. You are removing something to encourage the dog to do something. Negative reinforcement is not punishment. The dog is working to avoid something he or she dislikes. Punishment. Punishment is anything we do to stop a behavior. Positive punishment is where a stimulus is added that will reduce the frequency of a behavior. Pet correctors, pet convincers, rattle bottles, bonkers, they're all examples of positive punishment. Stepping on a dog's leash so that when it jumps it receives a correction is another example. Almost any introduction of force, discomfort, or physical correction is considered positive punishment. Negative punishment is where a desirable stimulus is removed in order to reduce the frequency of behavior. If a dog barks for attention and you turn your back and leave the room when it barks, in order to reduce the barking behavior, you have employed negative punishment, whether you intended to or not. Positive and negative in dog training have nothing to do with positivity and negativity, happy, sad, good, bad. They merely mean adding to reinforce and removing to stop. You cannot stop a behavior by using positive reinforcement. That is a contradiction. For example, let's bring this into the human realm. You have a thief. So you want him to stop stealing, so you say, okay, we'll teach him to cook instead. It's extremely unlikely that teaching him to cook is going to stop him stealing. Why? Because stealing is a self-rewarding behavior for the thief. So now what happens is you have an efficient thief who can make a great beef stroganoff for when he gets home with his loot, but he's still a thief. The only way to effectively stop him wanting to steal is to make the consequences for stealing intolerable to him. Punishment does not mean abuse. The Oxford English Dictionary defines punishment as the infliction or imposition of a penalty as retribution for an offence. As we all know, the meaningfulness of the punishment is determined by the recipient. For example, a £100 speeding ticket for one person might cause such financial distress that they would decide never to break the speed limit again. For another person, £100, it's meaningless. They will continue to break the speed limit until penalised sufficiently heavily, i.e. they would lose their licence and they need to drive for work. And then the consequences for that, you can imagine, are quite considerable. This is why it's extremely important to find a trainer who will take the time to learn about your dog, what drives it, and how it responds to different stimuli. Good trainers know how to employ the effective use of all 4 quadrants to train a dog. For example, I can punish a dog for pulling on the lead with a well-timed and appropriately applied correction, that's positive punishment, but then immediately reward it for coming back to the heel position with verbal praise and a treat. I can then continue to command and reward for the heel position every few paces and correct when required. So I'm constantly switching between different quadrants. It's vital that the dangerous behaviour, i.e. the pulling on the lead, is extinguished in a timely fashion. Dangerous behaviours are what put people in hospital and dogs at the vets. or worse, they get dogs put to sleep. With repetition, the dog will choose to assume that heel position naturally when walking, even off leash, because it has learned that good things happen when it's in that position. When teaching a young puppy to walk nicely to heel, I would use predominantly positive reinforcement, with the pup focusing on me for praise and treats, and then gradually phase out the treats and offer verbal praise only. I will correct the pup moving out of position, yes, but not in the same way or at the same level as I would for the large, behaviourally unsound dog that has already had training in how to walk to heel, but that is choosing not to. So, together with the 4 quadrants, trainers have many other tools at our disposal. Vocals, how we use our voice. Be clear, concise, and consistent. Don't bark commands at a dog. Don't shout. Don't chit-chat or use baby talk. Don't repeat commands. Dialoguing is unnecessary and the dog is not being obedient. Use nice, firm, neutral tones. Silence. Silence allows the dog to offer alternate behaviours and work out for themselves what is required of them. A thinking dog, when taught properly, is a great asset. Body language. Communicating the way dogs do. We use spatial pressure to direct a dog without verbal commands. We use hand signals instead of verbal commands. Brilliant if you lose your voice. Body language is one of the most valuable tools you can use with the dog. That's what they understand. Touch. Physical touch calms dogs down. It reassures them. Putting your hand against their chest, it gives you that connection. If your energy is nice and calm and relaxed, your dog will feel that. It will translate and the dog will in turn relax. This isn't to be confused with petting. Repetition. As with an army, the more you drill or practice a behaviour, the better a dog becomes at it. Keep doing that behaviour over and over again during the course of the day. Don't just say, oh, we'll have a 10-minute training session and that's when we practice the behaviour. Always be practicing it. Always be telling your dog what you want from it, where you want it to be. It just becomes a habit. Then you're always training. Clickers. Clickers are excellent. They capture a precise moment when a dog offers a desired behaviour. It's the same as pressing the shutter on a camera. You get the picture of the behaviour that you want. It's more precise than using your voice. It's very clear for the dog to understand, and they know that there's a reward coming. Latency. Latency is something that a lot of people don't use or don't understand, and it's a brilliant tool. Latency is the time given between the praise for a behaviour and the reward for it. I find it invaluable in building reliability. Then we go on to the physical tools that you have in your toolbox. We have flat collars, training leads, slip leads, long lines, check or choke chains, prong collars, head collars, so gentle leader, halty, e-collars, pager collars, cots, dog beds, crates. I could go on. The list is exhaustive. A reputable, experienced, knowledgeable and compassionate trainer will be able to work with you and your dog with any, some, or all of the above, depending on your and your dog's individual circumstances. A good trainer will have many tools in their toolbox and an open mind. The open mind is very, very important. When I start with a new client, we cover many things in the initial consultation, but the most important question of all for me is, how do you live with your dog? So this encompasses, does the dog know its place in your household, i.e. my house, my rules? Does the dog have structure and boundaries? Go to your place, go to your bed. Don't push through doorways in front of me. Don't rush down or up the stairs in front of me. Does the dog have unlimited access to food? Does the dog have unlimited access to toys? Is the dog properly housebroken? Does the dog understand what it may and may not touch and where it may and may not lie? Do you set aside time to teach your dog new things? Play, tug, fetch, puzzle toys, give affection, walk, exercise off leash. What are you feeding your dog and how often? Has the household undergone any changes, no matter how insignificant you think they may have been, or are there due to be any changes in the household? When a trainer has as complete a picture as possible of the way you live with your dog, this will enable them to tailor a training package that is right for you. There is no one size fits all. The majority of problems I see come from people simply not knowing how to live with their dog or fulfill its needs properly. When you change the way you live with your dog, you will change the way your dog behaves. Far more important than unlimited and unearned love and affection are structure, boundaries, leadership, and discipline. Dogs need these in order to feel secure and safe. This is how you show your dog you love them and will advocate for them. When a dog feels secure, it will act out less. When dogs feel they need to take control of a situation, that's when things go wrong. Remember, dogs are predators. This is when we see behaviours such as resource guarding, destructiveness, reactivity, and ultimately aggression. Dogs can't defend themselves with words or hand gestures. The only way they can communicate is by using their body language and their teeth. Your trainer should be able to teach you to understand what your dog is telling you, how to respond appropriately, and how to communicate to your dog what you want. Your trainer should be giving you all the tools you need to train your dog yourself, and then guiding you through the process so that when you are ready, they can step back and let you take the reins. A good trainer will share every ounce of knowledge and experience he or she has probably spent years acquiring in order to empower you to be the person, the leader, your dog needs you to be. If your trainer is unwilling or unable to do this, find another. Thanks everybody, have a great day.